Okesksanamatsaks, Stutaniku, Takshkitope. Dayaksanamatspor ni Tsiboks. Nidanistis Doyam Ishkitsikikuputu, the Noktu Dum Skapipikan. Okay, students. My name is Colton Running Crane, and my Blackfeet names are Takshkitope. And I'm going to be teaching you the Blackfeet language. I'm 17 years old and I come from the Skapipikan band of the Blackfoot Confederacy. So let's get started. Okay. Blackfeet language ni Tsiboks. So So the first lesson is going to be about the writing system and also about pronunciation. So we're going to learn the William Big Bull writing system called Nitsi Senaksen. And we're going to learn how to pronounce the Blackfeet language. And it is important to note that there is no standard writing system in Blackfeet or Blackfoot in the language Nitsiboksin. Many people use just write it phonetically, however it sounds to them, and others use the Blackfoot syllabics. But I use the William Big Bull writing system, Nitsiboksin. And really the main thing with this writing system is that there are diacritics on top of the letters. That's really one of the only things that's different with this writing system. And all the diacritic is a symbol that is on top of the letter. On the left, this symbol that is kind of like a V on top of the letter is called the stabs on top. The point that is on top of this letter is called the dot on top. And this line that is on top of this letter, call it the lays on top. And so whenever I use any of these terms, this is kind of what I'm referring to. Stabs on top, dot on top, and lays on top. And these are the three diacritics in this spelling system. Okay. Oh, and really in this spelling system, the only thing that's really different from just writing it phonetically is the diacritics on vowels. So here are the vowels. So this first symbol is two A's with the stabs on top. It's pronounced ah, 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 like in the English word father, lawn, caught, or long. Ah, ah, ah. The next symbol is an A with the stabs on top. It's pronounced ah, ah, ah. And it is similar to this letter, this character, except it's shorter. Yeah, except it's just a little bit shorter. Ah, ah, ah. In the words mama, sofa, above, or in support. Ah, ah. The next symbol is the U with the stabs on top. And you don't want to pronounce it oo. Many people make that mistake. It's not pronounced oo. It's pronounced ah, ah, ah. And it is very similar to this sound, but they're not the same. It's pronounced ah, it's pronounced ah, ah, ah. Like in the words fun, gun, butter, or us. Ah, ah. So just to reiterate, this is ah, ah, ah. This is ah, 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 ah. The next symbol is two A's with the lays on top. It's pronounced ah, 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 ah. like in the words hat, lack, hand, or cat. Ah, ah, ah. The next symbol is an A with the lays on top and an I, and it's pronounced eh, 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 like in the word set, many, lend, or again. Eh, eh. Its next symbol is two eyes with stabs on top, and it's like a soft eh. So it's pronounced eh, 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 eh. And it's also kind of mixed with the eh sound. So it's eh, eh, eh. And it is just like this, but pronounced with more of a soft tone. Eh versus eh, 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 eh. The next symbol is an AI or an AY, and it is pronounced A, 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 like in the words may, slay, gray, or gain. A, 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 A. The next symbol is an I with a lays on top and a Y, and it is pronounced I, 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 like in the words lie, sigh, spy, or high. I, I, I. This next symbol is a singular I, and it is pronounced I, 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 I. Like in the word kit, him, sin, or busy. I, I, I. The next symbol is two I's, and it is pronounced E, E, E. Like in the words feet, see, me, or tea. E, E, E. The next symbol is pronounced E, 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 and it is called the hard I or the hard E. And it is just like this E, but with more emphasis and sometimes a higher pitch. E, E. So this is E, this is E, E, E. And you don't have to use a higher pitch, but you just have to add more emphasis. E, 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 E versus E. The next symbol is two O's with the lays on top, and it's pronounced oo, 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 oo. Like in the word glue, moo, flew, or shoe. Ooh, ooh, ooh. This next symbol is an O with the stabs on top, and it's pronounced uh, uh, uh. Like in the words book, shook, look, or hook. Uh, uh, uh. This next symbol doesn't have an English equivalent. It's pronounced uh. There's two O's with the stabs on top. Uh. Like in the word utskwi, which means blue in Blackfeet. Utskwi. So and it's the combination basically of the sounds oo and If you were to glue those two sounds together, you'd get uh. The next one is an O with the lays on top, and it's pronounced O, 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 O. Like in the word toe, flow, show, or no. O, O, O. This next symbol is called the guttural tone, and it is pronounced like ha, ah, 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 and it is made in the back of your throat, ah, ah, and it is like, again, there's no English equivalent, but it is a little bit similar to the French R. And so you could just make it by in the back of your throat, almost as if you're to try to cough something up. And the way that I make the sound is I kind of close the back of my throat a little and force air through. So almost as if I were to breathe out like a raspy breath. And then I kind of close my throat a little to get. So you could start by blowing out and then just kind of close your throat a little bit. So that's how you can make that sound. But it might take a lot of practice. Ach, ach, ach. A Blackfeet word that you could use to practice this sound is the word achsa, 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 which kind of means like huh or like what. Achsa, achsa, achsa. So ach, ach, ach. This next symbol can have two different uses. It can be the aspirate tone or it can be a tonal shift. In the aspirate tone, it makes a hiss-like sound, kind of like sh, ish. There's a couple ways you could pronounce it. You could pronounce it in the back of your throat like ish, 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 or you could pronounce it near your teeth like ish, ish, ish. And to pronounce it in the back of your throat will take a lot of practice. It's kind of like ugh, but a little less rough. Ish, ish. But a way that you could pronounce it is like the English sh. And to make that sound, you want to make a normal sh sound, but keep some distance in your teeth. So say sh, but put the tip of your pinky in between your teeth. Sh, 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 sh. So it's almost like a hissing sound or like a cat sound. Ish, ish, ish. And then the next way that it can be pronounced is, or not necessarily pronounced, but it can be used to indicate a tonal shift. And what that is a drop in tone, but also adds more emphasis. But the tonal shift only follows the O, just like the aspirate tone only follows an E sound. So for instance, if a tonal shift comes after an O, you won't pronounce it O, you'd pronounce it like O, O. You'd kind of drop down your tone. Like instead of saying O, you'd say O. And then you kind of add more emphasis. O, O. For instance, if it comes after the E, it will make it ish, like in the Blackfeet word, ishtei poyo, ishtei poyo, ishtei poyo. And you can see the, it's also, again, it's in this word, ishtei poy, because you don't pronounce it ishtei poyop or ishtei poyop. You pronounce it ishtei poyop, ishtei poyop, ishtei poyop. Or like in this word, you don't pronounce it oni or oni. You pronounce it on, on, on. Can you hear the difference? If this was not here, it would just be pronounced oni, on, on. But with that tonal shift, you pronounce it on, on. So think of it as kind of like most of Blackfeet is going to be pronounced the same. But when you have the tonal shift, it kind of drops down a little bit. On, on. Or like ishtei poyop, ishtei poyop, ishtei poyop. Or like on, on, on. And then this next symbol is called the glottal stop, and it is just a, it's kind of like a dot in the middle of a sentence. And it is what a glottal stop is basically a brief pause in pronunciation, and it's like in the English word button. You don't really pronounce it button, pronounce it button. So the pause that you find that's kind of in this T is the glottal stop. Button, button, button. Or even like butter, or yeah, button. So there's really no way to pronounce this. It just indicates that you have to stop for a second. Button. The next symbol is a P with a dot on top, and it's pronounced ba, ba, ba. Like in the word spy, or speak, or spin, or spill. So the thing about this is you don't pronounce it spy, you don't pronounce it speak, you don't pronounce it spin, and you don't pronounce it spill. You don't add that puff of air that you do with the normal P. It's like a B almost. And a way that I like to see if you're pronouncing it correctly is to use a sheet of paper. If you're pronouncing it wrong, the paper will move P, P, P. But if you're pronouncing it right, so let me use a smaller sheet of paper. P, P, P. But if you're pronouncing it right, the paper should move because there's no gust of air. B, B, B. P versus B, P, B. So like tie versus spy, peak versus speak, pin versus spin, and then pill versus spill. So that's how you pronounce the P with the dot on top. It shouldn't move. The next one is the K with the dot on top, and it's pronounced ga, ga, ga. And a lot of people think it's pronounced like the G in English, like guy, but it sort of is, but it's different a little. The way that I think of it is kind of like a mixture of the K and the G. And so like in the word sky, skill, scream, or skin. Again, you're not pronouncing it sky or skill or scream or skin or skin. And you're also not pronouncing it sky or skill or scream or skin. Like if there was a G there, you don't pronounce it like that. It's like a mixture between g and k. It's g, g. And again, you could use the paper test. You don't pronounce it kai, you pronounce it sky. You don't pronounce it kill, you pronounce it skill. You don't pronounce it cream, you pronounce it scream. You don't pronounce it skin, pronounce it skin or skin. So you want to pronounce it like ga, ga, ga with no force of air because the paper should move. Ga. And if you're pronouncing it wrong, the paper will move. Like ka, ka, ka. The next symbol is the T with the dot on top, sorry. And it's just like the other two. There should be no puff of air. It's like in the English words state, stint, still, or stiff. You know, you're not pronouncing it state, stint, still, or stiff. So there's no puff of air. So pronounce it like a T, but don't add that air. So da, da, da. Just to reiterate, this is ba, ga, da. Ba, ba, ba. It isn't ba, 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 and it isn't pa, pa, pa. This is ga, ga, ga. It isn't ga, 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 and it isn't ka, ka, ka. It's ga, ga, ga. It's like this one isn't, it's da, da, da. It isn't ta, and it isn't da, da. This next one is, most of the time, the W is going to be pronounced the same, but that's really only in the beginning of a word. And you'll rarely find that it is going to be pronounced the same as an English W. It's rarely going to be pronounced wa, wa. There really isn't any Blackfeet words that I can think of where you There isn't a lot where it's pronounced wa, wa, wa. Couple come to mind, but not a whole lot. Most of the time, this W is going to be kind of found. It's not written, but it is found at the end of words. Most Blackfeet words, when they end, they're going to have a silent kind of sound. It's there, but it's not voiced. You don't use your lungs to make it. You just kind of use a little bit of air and mostly your mouth. It's like in the word for woman, aki, there's a kind of like a wa sound at the end. So it's like akil, akil, akil. Or like in the word for man, ninna, there's that kind of wa sound, ninnaw, ninnaw. And it's like that for pretty much all Blackfeet words. The word for buffalo, ini, you don't really say ini, you say inil, inil. And the W, when it comes at the end of these words, it's kind of like in the word ew, ew. Because you in the English word ew, you're not saying ewa, you're saying ew, ew. So the W is almost pronounced like you. Not quite, but a little bit. Ew is basically just E and U. Ew, ew, ew. So that ew sound is kind of how you want to pronounce it a lot. Like in the word for walk, awawka, awawka, awawka. You're not saying awawaka. And sorry, awawka means to like walk around. You're not saying awawka, you're saying awawka, awawka. So it's an interesting sound. And you just don't pronounce it like wa all the time. Pronounce it more like in the word ew, ew. And also sometimes you want to lift your lips. That's all you could do, like akiwa, akiwa. It's almost like you're whispering it and just opening your mouth, akiwa, wa, wa. So it isn't wa, it's more like wa, wa. But yeah. Okay. That's the end of lesson 1. See you all later.